Well, since the last video, I've been working on the top plate for the Archtop Mandolin. The first task is to actually carve the top. Okay, so what we're doing here, we're using this profile tool to check whether or not the top is symmetrical. I've got it as close as I can using my other templates. So now we're just kind of mapping out high points, and then I'm going to probably sand those high points off. Once the external shape has been carved, then you turn it over and you work on the inside, taking it down to the desired thickness. Right, well that's it then. There is the top plate, carved on the outside, carved on the inside, all sanded. So with the top plate carved externally, taken down to the desired thickness, the next step is to cut the sound holes. And I did this using a Dremel as an improvised pin router. Okay, so this is my improvised pin router that I'm using to cut the sound holes. Now the key to this is this adapter. I sourced this from a chap in Germany, and essentially you've got a 43mm outside diameter which allows it to go into a drill stand, and then it's got a thread cut into it which takes a Dremel. The cutter is aligned with a pin mounted in this baseboard, and I've got this template which the soundboard gets fixed to and goes over the pin, and essentially what happens is that you can follow the edge of the sound hole by pushing it against the pin, and the Dremel router bit will cut out the sound hole. Sounds relatively simple, but it's taken a lot of trial and error to get to this stage. There's a lot of chatter with the cutter because of the lateral movement of the drill stand. So what I've got is this big piece of angle aluminium mounted really firmly to the bench, and then once I've got the cutter set in the correct position, if I clamp it in place like that, that eliminates any side play and allows for a much cleaner cut. So there it is, one improvised pin router. Well, here we are, after an hour or so of very tense work, hunched over the improvised pin router. Here we have it, two perfectly routed sound holes. Okay, the next job then is to fit the braces or the tone bars to the top plate. Now, gluing two pieces of flat wood together, obviously very straightforward. Gluing one of these braces on is a different kettle of fish. You've got the curvature of the top plate in this direction, and also going across. So you've got this kind of compound curve, and the brace has to be shaped exactly to fit that surface. So not easy to get it 100%. So if you have a look on YouTube, you'll see that lots of luthiers use this sort of setup. So the soundboard's mounted in this jig with a piece of angle aluminium, and what that enables me to do, there's a little index mark there, is make sure that the brace is in one place all of the time and it's vertical. So basically you've got the tone bar clamped to the piece of angle and a piece of abrasive underneath, which you can then apply a little bit of pressure and sand. Sand until you've got the perfect profile. It's not a quick job, it takes quite a while to do, and you've got to make sure that you keep the abrasive paper flat. If you start doing this, then you're going to round off the edge of the tone bar and not get that really good contact. Okay, so here's the first tone bar glued in place, so I'll leave that overnight for the glue to set. In order to apply pressure between the top plate and the brace, I'm using these tiny wedges. So as the wedges get pushed in, pressure is applied downwards, and also underneath the top plate itself is some foam which is pushing up. So a combination of gentle pressure either side should get me a really nice glue joint there. So as I say, that will be left overnight, second one on tomorrow. Okay, so I just want to point out a few details to you. You can see now that the tone bars have been carved to their final profile. I've treated them a bit like the fan braces on a classical guitar. They focus at a point where the 12th fret would be, and I've made the treble one slightly higher than the bass one. On practically every instrument that I've ever made, I've always made the treble side stiffer than the bass, and that seems to work for me. The sound holes have been bound on the inside with some black veneer. That's to protect the very fragile edges of the holes themselves. And I don't know if you can notice, but either side, I've coated the surface with some cyanoacrylate. The reason being is I like to seal the surface completely, so that later on I can stick onto that surface a piezo transducer. So by sealing the surface, you get a good dust-free glue joint. So we've got the completed top plate. I'm going to glue that onto the rim. You may have noticed that there are a couple of tiny holes. That enables me to locate the top plate onto these pins that are in the rim, so that when I apply pressure with the clamp, the top plate doesn't slide around. So I'm going to do that now. So thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye bye.